A conditionally closed area where inconvenient people are located. My father became disabled when he saved people. He pushed them out from under a car. A woman with a girl whom he didn't know. I know how to deal with these people. I know how to help these people. I have almost 1.5 million. 1.5 million on Monobanka. How to report on them. And what about them? And you realize you can do so much with them. Can you imagine?
Hi, happy to see you here. I really want to know your story about volunteering. How did it come into your life?
It appeared, let's say, on a scale as large as we see now, to be honest, accidentally. I have always helped. Well, before the war, I helped children and animals mostly. And one day, when it started, well, when the full-scale invasion began, I ended up. This is exactly why I say by chance. One of my acquaintances went to a retirement home, to a geriatric center for the elderly. It's the largest geriatric center, not just in Ukraine, but in Europe, because there are 604 people there. Yes, and she asked me to go and take something there one day. When I arrived, Andrei, to say I was shocked is to say nothing.
Do you mean the bad conditions?
I mean, I saw a place for inconvenient people. You know what it is? I'm sure you knew about this place. But if you polled 100 people, I'm sure 95 of them wouldn't know about this place in Dnipro. Do you know why? Because it's a closed area. Of course, it's conditionally closed. Of course, they let people out of there. Okay? A conditionally closed territory where inconvenient people, people who are inconvenient for society, are placed. People with disabilities. We are not only talking about elderly people, but also about seniors. There are different people there. There are psychopaths, people with physical disabilities. And, when I arrived there, I hadn't yet entered the guest house itself. Everything happened outside that time. I have a friend who is always ready to join me in any kind of protest, except for hunger strikes. So when I simply write something like, "Hi," she replies, "All right, where are we going? What we are going to do?" Basically, she's ready anytime. I said, "Anne, will you come with me?" So we brought some fruits. Almost full trunk of my car was filled by goods. We made some tasty packages and brought them as well. I started talking to these people. God, they are so lonely. They are so lonely. They just long for communication. That little bag to them, you know? They didn't even need it. It was important for them to have someone just stand with them, ask how they are doing, what they need, what they did today, what they ate today. I left there, got in the car. Andrei, I was crying so hard, I just couldn't stop. You know, I'm sitting there, and the tears are just pouring out and running down my face.
Was it your first time talking to such people?
No, with such people not. Well,
I mean, you sat down, you said, and started crying.
That's interesting to hear. Many people ask me, why are you even with people like that? My father, may he rest in peace, who died this year, was disabled as well.
Can I correct you right away? I don't want to come off as too clever.
With a disability, right. My dad, a person with a disability, he said, I'm disabled.
My father says this as well, so...
I understand that I face the fact that I'm constantly being corrected. Of course, I present the correct interpretation of this word to the masses. Yes, but I know what I'm talking about. I lived with this person. My father became disabled when he saved people. He pushed them out from under the car. A woman with a girl whom he did not know. My father was an incredibly kind person, and it seems to me that he, just didn't have that part of his brain for hating or being angry at someone. He didn't have that function at all, like, not at all. Well, that kindness I have towards people, it's 100% from him. It's 100% what he passed on to me. And he became disabled. He pushed people out from under the car. He himself was in a coma for a very long time. I was a little girl then. Well, I remember all my childhood when my father was a person.
You've known how to help since childhood.
I know how to deal with these people. I know it. I remember a situation when we urgently needed to help the grandma, and there stood just 4 strong men, a few girls. The grandma fell, and they didn't know how to move her onto, like, a simple stretcher. I did it alone, yes. 53 kilograms did it in 0.5 seconds. Well, I know how to deal with these people. I know how to help these people. I know their needs firsthand. I know their pain. The real essence of loneliness. My father, despite having a family and children, was also lonely. He was lonely because he couldn't find fulfillment in this world.
Because society is not ready. The environment does not know how to do it properly.
Yes, we have a very, very unprepared society when it comes to communicating with these people. People with speech impairments are often perceived as drunk, inadequate. It's basic, you understand.
Yes, people can even, let's say, laugh about it.
Yes, yes, exactly. There is no decent attitude towards people with disabilities. Well, it always really pains me. You know what really hurts? My dream was, is, and will be to have a center of such European-level rehabilitation for elderly people. Yes, because they are also lonely. And even when they have a family, they are lonely. In many cases, actually.
Because the family also doesn't know how to do proper rehabilitation. And generally, I always say that you should first see the person, and then their disability. And unfortunately, we lack a culture of communication. Maybe someone will hear us? Let's communicate correctly. Start with this. You should ask the person what they need.
What she needs, what she wants, what concerns her.
You said you came to them, and like volunteers do, well, not all, many, they brought something, took a photo, and left. And you said that you started communicating. You understand that this was the main thing for them.
I was crying in the car, and I was thinking, am I ready? You know, I'm already a person who's familiar, yes, very closely with people with disabilities through my father. Am I ready? Because I caught such a vibe that I want to be there. I want to help them. I want to communicate with them. You understand? I really want to help them. And I had such an inner fear. Can I really handle such an amount emotionally? You know? Because I internalize so much. I'm so empathetic that when someone struggles, it hurts me. You know? There was this moment when I sat there crying. I was afraid. Will I be able to do it? Will I really be able to support so many people emotionally?
You sure it wasn't a pity?
No, I have no pity for such people. That's my big difference, I guess. When started forming a team, there were a lot of volunteers. Who was ready to go there? No, not like that. Let's start another way. Okay? Well, honestly, look, I started a fundraising action. I found out how many people were there. I wanted to help them, all of them, something to give them. We made bags of treats for them, candy, cookies, halva, buns. And when it was hot, we brought them ice cream. And I calculated, thinking, wow, that's such a huge amount. Just imagine, 604 people. That's such a huge amount. I started a fundraising campaign online. So I started fundraising. And you know, when you do something from the heart, it took off, spun around like that. I wake up in the morning, I almost lost consciousness, Andri. I have almost 1.5 million in my bank account. What? Celebrities reposted me back then. I didn't ask anyone to repost it back then. Imagine that. I just posted something like, people, I really need help. Please help. And in that post, well, I wasn't just talking about money. I needed things. Well, I was ready to accept anything. Treats, for example. You know? Well, I've decided for myself that I'm ready to help these people, to be like a guide, you know, between people who are morally not ready to go there. And that's okay. That's okay. I am ready to be the hands. You know? And that fundraising took off. Just like a snowball was pushed by people. I wake up in the morning, I open my phone, I got out of bed, then I'm looking. And before that, well, it beeped and beeped and beeped. And I just had to mute my phone. And now I sit down like this. My husband says, "Are you okay?" He brings me a glass of water, and I turn pale. You know, I feel sick. I'm like, "Oh my God, oh my God." And you know, right away, my first reaction is, look, before that, I had some small fundraising campaigns and reported on them very carefully. I'm Mrs. Receipt. I always show receipts to people. Here is your money spent here, right? 1.5 million. How to report on them? And what for? You can do so much with them, can you imagine? Well, you know, for me it was when I bought treats for them with 5,000, but here it's 1.5 million. I thought, wait, I can't just spend it all on treats. Oh, I can do something big, you know? And I decided, that's it, I'm opening a fund. So that everything would be clear, you know? So that we will be able to report. I had an accountant, an old friend of mine. Well, I was involved in certain activities before. So I said, Vika, we're starting a fund. She said, it's nothing to discuss here. Let's do it. The fund, yes, the fund. Why should we worry? What haven't we been through? Let's go to the fund. That's why I created the fund myself, to show people that every penny, every cent is reported to the tax authorities, and you can see what's being done with it. Well, so as not to lose people's trust. I mean, people believed me. You understand?
What is the foundation called?
1 + 1 is no longer 1. I'll tell you, I don't watch TV. And then, people started confusing me with the 1 + 1 Foundation, which is a TV channel. I never knew such a fund existed. Well, I named my fund from the heart. You know, like how what I want to put into this name, right? That elderly people with disabilities, and when we are together, they are no longer alone. I'm like, darn, there is a similar fund, as always. Well, the main thing is that it's from the heart. And we began. I then started gathering a team of volunteers. Well, it was purely on Instagram. Friends, who wants to join me, go, and...
What were the criteria for someone to become a volunteer?
Sincere desire.
Desire is not enough. I'm sure there were some people who you refused to.
People. Well, I am such a straightforward person, and so,
I can feel it. I see
a sensitive
it.
person, yes. Believe me, well, I've never been stuck in a rut. Never. The team I have now, my team, people are amazed by them. I don't know the correct word in Ukrainian. Well, there you go.
Well, what's it called?
Proud. No, I guess admire. That's exactly it. You understand? Oh, yes, exactly.
Just like that.
I am proud of my team, and others, well, they admire it. Let's make such an ending to seem like we are speaking Ukrainian. These are incredibly cool people who are truly driven by sincere, oh God, sincere desire to be with me. There are people with whom we have been together for 2.5 years. The time we have been doing this. In my team, I have such people. I have a lot of displaced people whom we once helped, and they stood shoulder to shoulder with me to help others. We have an amazing, very strong team.
This is unpaid work, right?
This is unpaid work. It's just a chat. I remember posting on Insta, friends, who is ready to help me go physically distribute treats? We made the first treats at home with my child, and my husband helped. Well, we made small packets. It was 100 treats. The first ones.
You turned your family into volunteers, yeah?
Yes, 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 yes. We packed into each bag these treats and then distributed them on the floors. So I realized for myself that it is hard to pack 100 bags. I thought, that's it. 604? Now I will not make 604. We packed 50, and I was like, oh, let's do 100 more for the first time. Then we'll figure something out. Then a woman from Mariupol joined me. We helped her once. It's, well, my friend's mom. And she started packaging for all the people. We divided the boarding house into two blocks, Block A and Block B. One block has around 300 people, and the other has 200 plus. One week we go to Block A, the next week to Block B. We go every Wednesday for 2.5 years already.
How can one join you? And what are the current general needs?
General needs are hands. First of all, hands, because it so happened that, for example, Ilya, yes, with Odintsov, a good friend of mine,
Who has already been in our podcast.
we got to know each other thanks to, yes, volunteering. Well, I'll tell our story later. It's quite funny. Right now, we are very actively working with evacuated people from the Donetsk region, and my team is fully in charge of the internal life in this shelter, for free. Therefore, our focus has shifted slightly. I wouldn't say significantly. No, we will not abandon those people. We will support them. But currently, critically not enough hands. We cannot split ourselves, you understand?
Therefore, if someone wants to help,
Join in, friends. Message me. On Instagram.
On
I'm there.
Instagram?
I'm open. I have my phone number there, and emails, and everything you want, except for my home address. You know, so people don't show up at midnight in front of my house. Right? Right if you really, truly want to. Yes. Not just to show up. Like, I'm such a great philanthropist. I came and handed out bags. Unfortunately, such people are filtered out here. And you shouldn't be afraid of these people. I often come across this, that people write, I want to, but I don't know if I can handle it morally. Such people are much better than many who surround us. Sorry for the bluntness.
directness, yes.
Yes. Well, they are much more sincere. They are much more open. They are genuine. You understand? They are just as they are. They do not try to pretend to be something else. They do not try to hide something unpleasant behind a nice picture. They...
Well, I saw elderly ladies singing and dancing.
Yes, this is already in our new shelter. There, in the retirement home, they call me mommy. They say, you're our mommy. I say, well, I'm a mother of many. You know, I have...
You have several projects, as I understand. Let's be honest, these are projects so that viewers and listeners can understand. How many do you currently have?
Look, I don't just have these facilities. I also have targeted assistance. That is, we help the elderly too.
Address assistance, do you mean address assistance for internally displaced persons or for elderly people in general?
And people with disabilities as well. I also have children under care. It's cerebral palsy. It's autistic children. We also help such children. I have incredible families, just incredible families, mothers. One mother who has 2 daughters with cerebral palsy, and she take care of them. Well,
And we understand that she cannot work.
physically, yes, physically. And the needs, you understand.
Yeah.
There are very large needs there. We have elderly people. These are entire families we help and support. Well, just elderly, lonely people, and we help them. There was a time when a girl contacted me on Instagram, writing, Nika, there is such a situation. I'm a displaced person myself. I'm renting an apartment, and I saw an elderly woman there on the floor below. The door was open. I peeked in. She was lying there. Well, we were like that emergency quick help, you know? We called an ambulance for this lady and took her to the hospital. Hip fracture. Her niece, unfortunately, is not adequate. Well, I don't want to. Everyone perfectly understands how she took care of the grandmother, who was a bit...
Hard story.
The apartment, you know, in a good building. Such a creature, honestly. Well, I can't... Well, you can't take words out of a song. Well, these people are creatures.
You put it lightly, I understand. You could have put it more beautifully.
Yes. Well, I couldn't come to you. I didn't know how to approach you without swearing, you know? And you say it was easy to say. Well, unfortunately, yes, there are probably swear words. We have a certain form.
Communication.
Yeah, communication. It's just easier that way. We are working through something with this. Well, as if it's normal. And such people. And then in the end, this grandmother, she couldn't have an operation anymore. She was in a terrible condition. We transferred her to a private nursing home. Then people helped me collect funds to pay for her nursing home. Well, unfortunately, she passed away. As if the doctors then said that she didn't have much time left because she was in a severe condition, and we buried people. I already have a discount at the crematorium. You see, it's...
You know what I like? You present it with humor.
Otherwise, I would have lost my mind long ago. Well, it would have flown away. I'll tell you, when I come here more often, sometimes I stay in the house. It's a summer house, a geriatric home, where there are people with special needs. If you go there 3 days in a row and stay, you already leave feeling a bit off. You know, like something slips away. You need to switch gears and return to them refreshed. You can't do it 24/7, you know, with them. Well, if we're talking about working as orderlies, they understand what they're getting into. As a hyper-emotional person, it's hard for me. I start to switch on to 110%, which is what I always do. I never do anything halfway, you know. Well, if I do something, I do it 100% cool. Sometimes you need to switch gears. You can't do that constantly, you know?
Let's go straight. Let's go straight to this. How do you switch?
I drink alcohol, laughing.
Oh, you have my recipe. I got it. That's why there's such a vibe. I understand everything.
Both a joke and not a joke. Sometimes it really is impossible without it. You know, just to ease the mind a little bit. I have a favorite wine that I definitely have a couple of glasses of in the evening. Well, it's not something you should do.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Well, I'll tell you. Well, damn, 90% of volunteers will say, no, I do sports. I send messages to Universe, but for real, they are drinking, believe me.
No, 100%. We have a strong acquaintance, Ilya.
He works out.
He works out.
A sick person.
I'll cut for him. Send it personally, so he...
Well, you know, here's the thing. I have kids with whom, when I spend this small amount of free time that I have, well, it fills me up. It's true. Because you understand, when you look, well, when I look at my kids, yes, and I see their expressions in kindness to other people, I see that I'm doing everything right. Yes, when I see my child leaving the store and seeing an elderly lady, and he's searching in his pocket for a candy to just give it to the granny. You understand? I understand that I'm doing everything right, that when I become like that, maybe I have a chance that I won't be in that retirement home. You know? It's important. It's important not only for me, but it's important that I am growing such a person. He will have a friend who, I hope, my child will inspire with this good example of how to interact with such people. And so, you know, little by little, maybe we can become a good nation.
Everything will work out? It definitely will. So let's get back to volunteering activities. I understand that your schedule is not like everyone else's, but let's talk a little about your workday, let's say. How does it begin?
Well, I no longer drink. It begins with coffee. Look, the start of my day, it is, I already running somewhere, already flying somewhere, already on the phone, already in messages, 101 tasks a day. I just physically, you know, like there are philanthropists who I look at and think, damn, how do you manage to post all that on Instagram, do all that? I can handle the most important, the biggest task, and even forget to take out my phone to take a picture. Especially when I'm in the process with people, it completely turns off the thought that this needs to be shown to people, but it needs to be shown.
This is needed personally right now.
A lot. I have an incredible number of messages after some of those. Those stories I show, yes, we did this, we did that. And people write to me, I saw it from you and I started doing it, like there. Well, people are concerned about this. As an example. And it's cool. It's another plus that I'm not working for nothing, like all day, not seeing my kids. It might happen that I leave home when my kids are asleep and return when it's time to put them to bed. You know, I'm very grateful to my husband for the support. That is amazing. Yes, and he understands how important the mission I'm carrying out is. Yes, for our, well, in general, for people, for our society. Well, I have over 1,000 elderly dependents. Over 1,000. Just imagine. And I know them all by name. I know what they want. I know what they need. We will talk about geriatrics sometime, you know, when they join me, when some organizations in geriatrics join us. Yes, we are not. Vinichenka, that our project had to be done. Yes, let's talk about him a bit later. I'll tell you about the organizations that joined me. Some organization, they want to see what is there in geriatrics, what needs they can meet there, and they come. What starts? First, people start run to me, run and run. There are some, well, psychics. My Veronika, and he runs and we hug. Everyone in tears, sniffles, lipstick, you know, like Tosi. And they're like, oh, really, like that? Do you know all their names? I'm like, oh, and then, hi, what did you do there? And that, well, I mean, I remember what they wanted. I remember what they needed. I remember, oh, there's one with boots. I need boots. I say, where are your boots? We'll bring them to you tomorrow. You know, that is, we have really simple communication. I don't arrive there like, you know? And when these organizations come, they're like, ah, do you know their names? And for me, it's like, what do you mean? Seriously? Yes, we are discussing people. I have been there for 2.5 years now, and I have already selected a room for myself for the future. Do you understand? Just kidding, of course. So what are we discussing? We are not discussing a checkmark, one-day assistance, or for the sake of appearances, but about real actions. And I'll say again, whatever project I take on, yes, this is also my project. Well, this also turned out to be my project, a big, big, long-term one, and it will still continue for a long time, that project. And whatever I undertake, I do it 110%. Therefore, unfortunately, my volunteer day does not start and does not end. It is cyclical. It is every day.
Volunteer era, I understand.
Yes. Yes. I chose this for myself. It's a way of life. Well, that's it. It will not be any different. I'm already up to my neck in it, in this help. And when I see what I have managed to achieve and how much I have managed to change and improve people's lives, I understand that I want to continue. Therefore, I don't have a working day as a volunteer. I live in this mode constantly.
Got it. So you said you would tell us about another project. You've mentioned it a few times before. Well, let's talk about it now.
Let me first tell you how it happened. How it all happened. I have friends who evacuate people, and Ihor calls me. He is a chaplain who used to go to the hottest spots, yes, to rescue people. And he tells me, Nika, I have 8 grandmothers. I just evacuated them, and I call these shelters, but they don't want to take them in. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, when they hear about an elderly person, a very old person who has difficulty moving and needs care, they don't want to take them. Hello, Ilya. And I tell him, bring them. Well, I'll think of something now. As a last resort, in private summer homes, I'll think of something, rent a house. Well, I don't know. Those were my thoughts. And what? Just leave them. to their fate? I was like, Ilya, hello, what to do? Now we'll think of something. Ilya always, like when we laughed, when he calls me, I'm already like, and it's the same when I call him. He already knows that some topic is brewing, that you're crazy with us. Well, I'm not afraid to take on something new. I'm not afraid to tackle something that many people are scared to take on. I'm even interested in solving such challenges and showing people that everything is possible. It's like, with field kitchens, in the year when they were needed by everyone, and yes, to the defenders. And from the retirement home on Gagarin Street, everything is on electricity. And the residents there call me. I mean, yes, the residents constantly and say, Nika, what do we do? Won't they feed us? Did they give us canned food? Well, that's it. You have no electricity. Everything is lost. And everyone is like, it's impossible, Nika. It's impossible to buy kitchens now. I say, yes, friends, everything is possible. We're raising funds, raising for 2 kitchens. They were insanely expensive then. We bought one for $90,000, and I'll tell you about the second one now. 2 kitchens are needed, 2 kitchens, to have 4 people, feed them. So I, whoosh, got into action. How can we do this? They're telling me, some guy from Odessa, he would do it for any amount of money, but nobody has those kitchens. I say, damn. Let's take a look. Let's have a look at this situation together. I'm reaching out to friends and acquaintances. I remember we had biker gatherings. I remember who went out with this kitchen. Okay, here we go. Check, 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 check. We reach out to that person. Give away the kitchen, sell the kitchen. And he's like, dang, for such an amount. Okay, we'll take it all. First kitchen acquired. Can't find the second kitchen. Then I remember I know some guys. They have a laser production. You can make anything. Basically, they have a really cool production. I call there and say, can you make a kitchen? A field kitchen. He was like, well, we haven't done that. I was like, well, can you? So what if you haven't done it? Here's an example. I found it online. Yes, we can. In a week, we have the second field kitchen. And we fed 604 people thanks to these 2 field kitchens. The whole time, until there was no light, until they provided, and we brought a big generator, a huge one, 35 or 36 something, from Poland, that too. While this bureaucracy thinks and says, yeah, we will help.
Submit the application, we will review it.
We will help. Now we throw it to the top again, so they can look there too. Oh, the top didn't get it. Let's throw it again. I mean, you understand, this bureaucratic moment can simply ruin our people. Well, unfortunately, therefore, I believe that without us, ordinary people, without each one of us, only each person can quickly address requests, can quickly help. Only a person can support another person. You understand? That's why I believe more in people, in teamwork. From the people, if everyone contributes a little, we can meet all demands. Until...
That's how it happens.
While someone
let's
is
go
thinking,
back to the elderly ladies.
oh, come on.
So they are arriving.
They are coming to us, and nowhere to accommodate them. And Ilya says to me, let me call the dormitory now. Let's accommodate them there. I said, okay. I took in the first old lady myself. I thought the guys would help me. Well, this who took them out. They came quickly and flew back for evacuation. I'm standing there with 9 ladies, a bunch of bags. And I'm like, now, grannies, everything will be okay. Everything. And they start crying even more. And I'm like, Veronika, it's too early to be drinking so far. Come on, let's pull ourselves together. We chatted, we talked. I took each one, led them to a room, just got random people involved. Friends, please help. We brought grandmothers, and I'm alone. I feel like I can already lift more than my weight, like in that.
This
was an active dormitory, and they gave us 3 rooms. We were given 3 rooms in it. We settled the grandmothers there. Some grandmothers were very frail. Well, elderly, 92 years old she is. They rushed her, put her in the car, brought her here. She doesn't even have any walking sticks, And we carried them there. Carried them. Well, the grandmothers are also beautiful. Some of them got together. The one who is more lively, she starts to help the one who had a harder time. They teamed up at that moment. We and the grannies were like one at that moment. Moreover, I tell each other, oh my God, I entered that room in the dorm. Oh, ho, there. It just froze me, you know? I thought, oh my God. Whenever I do something for people or choose something for them, I always think, what if, well, like for myself, right? Or is it for my grandmother? I mean, I never buy cheap crap, you know? To meet the need. I always aim for something of higher quality, like how I would want it for myself, how I would buy it for my grandmother, you know? I enter that room, and I just, it's like everything sank. I'm like, okay, grannies, don't be scared, little by little. We'll come tomorrow with the girls, help you clean up, help you. They said, just so long as they don't fly. I'm like, phew, because I was afraid they would start saying, where have you brought us? To some inadequate conditions they imprisoned, right? And then Ilya and I started, we understand that it's starting. And call after call, call after call, that evacuation is coming, no places. And in Mazhova there was a point, right?
Transshipment.
Yes. Look, when I first heard about it, I asked for photographs. I said, and how do you see, Granny? I said, putting you on that folding bed. And then take them back in a day? When they got to my place on Vinichenko, they all started getting sick after 3 or 4 days. They started developing sores. It's normal, because a person begins to relax, to adapt, and a process in the body starts. Everything relaxes. You understand? We started, I had 2 stroke patients. The grandmothers, who arrived more or less able to walk, relaxed so much that stopped getting up. These are very, very elderly people. Well, 92, 95 years old. Grandmothers with their ailments, which no one was dealing with. Do you understand? And Ilya and I, Ilya says, let's rent the entire dormitory. He says, are you ready? I say, of course. Where will these people go? Of course I'm ready. I didn't even think if it's hard or not. Where will we find people? How will we do this? I say, yes, let's do it. Let's take it, Ilya. We moved from the first dormitory, from another dormitory, to this building, where we are currently accepting people. And do you know what was the saddest for me? How many different charities and NGOs we have, how many we have, all of that. But in terms of real help, it's just...
There are becoming fewer and fewer of them.
Real help comes only from individuals. I'm so sorry that these funds were created for nothing. I don't know how it will turn out. Sorry, I'm a straightforward person.
Listen, I'll say it for you. A lot, almost 70%, is done just for show, for the photo, and just to say, but I did this. Yes.
We are great. How awesome we are. To bring dried bread and say, I brought it. I'm great.
15 photo reports. And then when the guys help and...
Really only Proliska, right? Well, I understand it's the UN, right? Proliska.
Honestly, I don't really know the structure, but Proliska is one of the first funds that helped to my shelter.
And they really helped. There were beds. Yes, and so on. Because in the dormitory, we understand the age of the dormitory, the age of these beds. Yes, they were all like grandmother's peers, all these beds, and these metal net ones, where my grandmother just sat and ended up on the floor, and the legs went up. Well, it's impossible for people on such beds, right? To accommodate these. And Proliska quickly addressed this issue with beds. The question we have... Currently, the most critical issue is hands, is people. So I posted, hey people, hey friends, anyone ready to help with their hands, please join us. I created a Telegram channel. Well, a Telegram or, you got it? That chat. In short, I joined there, well, I think there are about 400 people now. And you know who goes there? My team. Well, like, damn, why are you joining there? To just look. Why? When organizations visit, they look and say, oh, you are doing a great job. Keep it up. Well
As
done.
they say, priests are more expensive
We
than monks.
admire you. Yes, we will definitely help someday. Who else came to us? It was me. I mean, there's this English woman. And this kitchen. I'm calling Katya. Oh, yes, World Kitchen. Kitchen. Anyway, they were the first to come to us with hot meals because we cooked the first lunches ourselves for the grandmothers. We went and made borscht with the girls, made pasta.
Everything that you can do.
I can do everything, really. Well, and
I think if they told you that you can't make a field kitchen, you'd be like, forget it. Give me a welding machine. I'll make it myself.
yeah. Well, like for me, it's cool. Yes, I can even change tires myself. Well,
If you can turn around,
if it's written on Google how to do it, so I will do it. You know, it won't be a problem for me. And we, basically, the first days, we fed them ourselves. We cooked food for them in the dorm kitchen. And then, thank you, our salvation was these guys, who are currently, now a second organization, Food Life, has come in, and they take turns feeding them. Well, that made the task easier. I can't tell you how much. Because 100 people, for example, currently we already have 100 people there. Well, imagine making borscht for 100 people, and you need to do it several times a day. Well, some might still manage to make something themselves, but many of them there, yes, in the Donetsk region, were under the care of social services.
friend, buddy, relative, please subscribe. There's a bell, click on it, and leave a comment. And maybe for the coolest comment, we'll give you something.
A volunteer position in my team. How about that?
Regarding the upcoming projects, you said you have 1,000 people you take care of. How does the team help you specifically? Tell us a little about the team overall.
The team it's my second family. It's not just a group of people. They are already friends, already relatives. You know, these are like-minded people with whom, you don't need to say what to do. Well, we are so much on the same wavelength that even when I, for example, am very, very busy with something, no one expects from me, right? Like, do this or that. Everyone clearly knows what they can do, so each one does the maximum of what they can do. You understand? With this team, I don't just feel on top of the world. It's an unreal strength to have such people by your side. Everyone who meets my team says, "How, Nika? How did you gather such people around you?" I say, "Well, ask my team. Why are you asking me?" Well, ask them. And each of them says, "She's just incredible. You'd follow her to the ends of the earth." Well, it's true, Andrei. Such crazy, eccentric people gather, who don't care about what people will say and will be working hard for real help. Real, not for show. And we will work hard with them. I love them very much. Without them, I would have long since, could have thrown up my hands. Well, I wouldn't have managed. Such a volume of people, such a volume of information, needs and needs and needs. I feel like when I went to bed, needs are everywhere. And every member of our team, I can rely on each of them 100%. I know they won't let me down. I know they stand with me shoulder to shoulder. We'll keep going. It's very cool to have such a team. I'm proud of them. I'm proud of you. You will see. It will definitely be.
Come on a few more times to make it even more. Yes. And finally, I want a recipe from you. What is the right kind of volunteer? What does Ukraine need now and in the future?
First of all, I want to remind all volunteers who are raising money not to forget to report back. Because of such pseudo-volunteers, people start losing faith in true volunteers. I want to ask those. Either just get out of the volunteering market. Well, it's a big market, right? Just end your unserious activity and become business people. I don't know. That's exactly your thing. Report, friends. Report, show. Show your activities and do it sincerely because when I started, there were very many, a huge circle of volunteers. Huge, right? I still didn't understand who, well, I understood how to be a good volunteer, right? But I still didn't know who was a real volunteer and who was a pseudo-volunteer. Now I can list the real volunteers just like that. Like this. I'm talking specifically about those who organize fundraising, who genuinely help our military, who help civilians. Very few of them remain. Many have burned out. They're just burned out morally and well, you cannot stop. They stopped, right? Their activities? It's unlikely, once you have been a volunteer, you can stop this activity. Well, stop doing it.
Put it on hold, so to speak.
Yes, it is very, very sad that few people do it sincerely, from the heart. And so I wish everyone who wants to help to do it sincerely and do it well. When you do something, first ask yourself, would I want someone to do it for me this way or that way? When you do for others as you would for yourself, that will be 100% excellent, excellent result.
Did everyone remember? Do exactly that. Thanks a lot for the conversation. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Take a little break, all right? Take a little break, and then go hard again.
Yesterday, my blood pressure shot up to 150. So I rested, laid down a bit. All
right.
good.
Thank
you very much. Thank you for the invitation. I hope your project gains great momentum.
Thank you. See you.
See you.